Hi everyone, it's Joni Young here. Welcome back to my channel for another acrylic painting tutorial. Today I'm going to show you all step by step how to paint this pretty weeping willow with some azalea trees on the bottom left and looking over a pond. This is from one of my recent little trips to Bouchard Gardens in Victoria, Canada. Wanted to share it with all of you today in this tutorial. I hope you guys enjoy painting along. Be sure to check out the full list of colors and brushes of canvas I'm using below this video in the description box. And I'm going to go over them right now as well. Working on a 10 by 10 double primed and stretched canvas. I've got a flat brush here I'm going to start the painting with. The following colors: Dioxazine purple, light blue violet, neon rose, titanium white, light olive green, and sap green. If you're not sure about what other colors you can use, if you don't have these same ones here, just leave a question below. I've got lots of color recipes for you and alternatives. So I'm going to go ahead and get started just by misting my canvas with a little bit of water. This is going to help the canvas take the paint a lot easier. For the background, I'm going to be using some light blue violet. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white. I'm going to take a mop brush dry and just soften all those lines and help blend that all around the canvas and make it look nice and soft and not all the same shade everywhere. Some areas are a little lighter, some a little bit darker. What I'm going to do now is go ahead and start adding some light olive green, a little bit of purple and white, and add that as some reflections in the water. So I'm just going to continue using my flat brush. A little bit of light blue violet still in there. You don't have to wash your brush out. I'm going to mix those colors up so that it makes this nice clay kind of earthy color. And I'm just going to add a little line right down here, about a third of the way up from the bottom of the canvas. I'm going to take a little bit more purple and a little bit of light olive green. Pull across. And then just add a few little lines. Only a little bit of this will be visible with our hanging weeping tree. I'm going to take a little bit more purple. I'm going to take a little bit of sap green in as well. I'll take us a few shades darker. And then make those little lines tighter and tighter so that it just becomes a little squiggly looking line and ripple in the water like that. You can use a smaller brush to make some narrower ones as well, or I just use the corner of my brush. I take some more purple again, just a little line of it on the end of my brush, and I'm just gonna add it at the base of the water here. Okay, the next color I'm going to take is light olive green, a little bit of sap green in there, a little bit of white. Mix them up. Get it on, load it on the bottom part of your brush, and I'm just gonna bring that right above the water's edge, our pretty little pond. Take a little bit of blue violet, mix that in with those greens, make it a little bit darker. We're going to apply that partially over the lighter green, the first layer. And then I'm just going to gently pull off of this dark purple, pull and drop, go across. It's another way of adding some little ripples, reflections in the water. The next brush I'm going to be using is a small round brush, and I'm going to be taking a combination of purple and sap green. We're going to work on the tree trunk now. So I'm going to start down here. We're going to cover up the base of the tree. We won't see that. We'll have our pretty azalea flowers, bushes here, and some more leaves. So we're just going to go right across, about a quarter of the way in from the left. Push, wiggle, push gently and wiggle. The reason why you want to wiggle is so that you get that really neat shape that the tree trunk has. We're going to bring it over that way. Another one over here. Bring it out, in, and across, and over. I love painting trees that have a lot of character like this, and they just have really curvy, swirly branches, and they're just really beautiful and fun to paint too. Let off on the amount of pressure you're applying when you're adding thinner ones. There's just so many branches on this tree. I wish I could remember how old this garden is. I want to say it's from early 1900s. I could be wrong. It could be even late 1800s. But it's a really pretty place, and I've got quite a few photos that I took, and I've been wanting to render them, so hope you guys enjoy learning the process. I'm just twisting and rolling my brush around here just to make some thinner little branches, and then I'll be coming in with a liner brush as well. But I just want to get the first base coat down, and then we're going to come in with some weeping willow leaves, and then we'll layer over with more branches. That way we build up the layers, right? Because there's branches hanging over the front, the other side of where we're standing. So it's got to make sense. We've got to have those leaves and branches over on that side, then have some branches showing, and then some more leaves in front of where we can see them. Okay, so I'm going to just rinse this brush off. I'm going to use a Filbert brush, and it's a little bit wet. I'm going to take some, both my greens here, olive and sap green. The purple base that I have here for my tree and branches are still a little bit wet. This is gonna pick up a little bit as I pull and flick off for the leaves here, and I like that because it's going to give us a little bit more shadows and depth. So we're just gonna go and pull like this. You can tap a little bit too. Remember, this is just the first coat. See how I'm picking up a little bit of purple there? There's a few brushes that you can use for painting weeping willow trees, and I've painted quite a few on my channel that you can see. So it just gives you different approaches, different brushes, different techniques, and you can find out what works best for you. I'm always trying different techniques without even really realizing it. I think it just kind of like helps me learn new ways and just always experimenting. I don't like to always do things the exact same way. Some things just work and you just stick with it, right? But you can, when you paint as often as I do, you can develop quicker ways of doing it. So a little bit more green back in here. And this is just the first layer. We're going to come in with some more little branches. I'm going to rinse this brush out. I'm going to go over to a liner, long liner rigger brush and get it wet. I'm going to take purple and a little bit of green, maybe sap green, just get that really dark tree trunk color back again. And I'm going to add twist and a roll and a pull just for some more branches in here. Now they're going up and then around like this, so really get this curve. Well, you need lots of patience and water when using a liner brush for these types of brush strokes. It's really going to help you. So just lots of wiggly lines that are going to flow out in this direction, in this specific area, not the whole tree. You want to bring them right down. I'm just going to place my canvas up here. Hopefully it stays steady for me. If I'm not applying too much pressure, it should. You see my paint is quite thin and watered down. I'm going to have some branches that are darker and more in front, so that's when I'm going to come in with more of the purple. And go over with another coat so it's not see-through. It helps to have a little bit of those greens in there. a little bit more water. See how it kind of dried there, and I wasn't able to successfully add that paint the way I wanted to. Yeah, it just really helps to like twist and roll your brush around. Be free, feel free, because yes, these trees are very graceful, but the branches are really quirky and all over the place. And whatever you don't like, you can always just cover up with another branch or some leaves. So right about here, I'm just going to pop this out, make it a little bit thicker, and then I'm going to push and bring it over and then down. Get some more water on my brush, help it flow. So we've got that another thick one right there, and then one that dips down here goes up and then down and over. Okay, for the most part this is dry. There's just a few areas where I applied really thick paint. That's going to take a long time to dry, so I'm just going to be mindful over that area. And I'm going to use this smaller Filbert brush. I'm going to take some light olive green, and I'm also going to mix a little bit of my white with that. This is going to give us some brighter highlights to those weeping willow leaves. You can just kind of tap, 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 pull and drag. I find like a combination works. I'm just going to pull a little bit of some of that sap green in there too. I think that's pretty, kind of just change up the tone of the greens here and there so it's not all exactly the same. Remember, you can go over your branches as often as you want or need to. They're going to show through, so you won't forget where they are. And if we want to just decide to have one branch that's completely visible, we can easily do that by just going over. So notice I'm leaving some dark spaces in between too. I'm going to start tapping and kind of pulling and creating little arches to go with that shape and that direction, how it kind of sweeps over and drops down like this. Then I'm going to come in, pick up a little bit of that brownish color we made with the green and the purple, and I'm going to tap in. Oh, I'm going to need a little bit more of that over top of that light green. I'm going to add some more shadows as close as I can get, partially over the brightest green. Okay, this is going to give us a little bit more depth here. Again, pulling in this direction along with that arch. shape. A little bit more of both of those greens. You can tap in the odd little area. Just all these little tiny taps will look like individual leaves, but in an impressionistic sort of way. I'm going to add some moss here with these greens. Load it up. The bottom part of my brush. And just drag over like this, partially over. And then I'm going to come right under here, go over those little bumps, pull this over. Let's take a little bit more light olive green and a little bit of white. And just catch some down this side like that. Rinse your brush out. I'm going to go back for some purple. And I'll add a little bit over part of that moss. Add some more branches, just with a purple. Finish off the branches with my liner brush. I'm going to bring them straight down in this area, but then over and out. I mix a little bit of green in here. We're going to have some bushes down here and the azalea tree. I want to play up on the blue just a little bit more, so I'm going to, just in the water, I'm going to take some light blue violet with my little filbert brush. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and start working on some leaves here for our azalea, first in purple and sap green. I'm just gonna lock in some taps and dabs here. And come along the bottom. A little bit more sap green. And it starts to come up and meet in with the weeping willow branch down here. They kind of blend in together and meet each other right here. I'm going to take both greens. Now while that's drying a little bit, I'm going to go over and add another highlight of weeping willow branches, both greens and white. I'm going to come in right in here with my purple and bring that down so it meets up right there. I was just missing a little area there. Not noticeable to you guys unless you're looking at the reference photo. Okay, there's another thing I want to do to the top of the tree. So just in this photo, I can see it looks a little bit poofy right here on the top. I'm going to just use a mop brush dry. I'm going to go into my olive green and a little bit of white. Okay, I don't have a lot of paint on my brush, and I'm just going to kind of do a little tap dance, tapping and kind of flicking off after. Take a little bit more white in with that, tap to mix the colors together. Now the reason why I'm kind of adding these little flicks is because there's little curls in the little branches and some of the leaves. It's a little poofy looking over in this section too. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of white and I'm going to add some branches that are down here. I don't know what type of tree this is, but or bush down here. I'll have to go back there in a few weeks to see what ends up growing on there. But I'm going to take a little bit of purple now. Just add, it looks like they're connecting and it's like the same, but it's different. The branches meet up with the branches from this little bush. Just add a little lines, squiggly lines on there. And then I'll come in with some greens and white. We'll add a little bit just to kind of tuck this in a little bit, camouflage it a little bit. I'm going to add some green and white, sap green and white to the leaves. So the leaves are kind of like an almond shape. So you just push and let off. Gently push in the middle, then let off. You can make them a little longer as they get more towards us here in the front. We have some front facing ones. That's why it was important to have the dark base first, because we build up all the lighter details from that and we're left with those dark bits in behind that give it that depth that we want. And I just added some here, but you can't see them, so I'm going to go around. Add a little bit of purple. And they'll show up a little bit better. I'm going to add another highlight here. I'll take just a little bit of white and then take most of it off, so I'm left with a pretty dry brush here. I'm just going to add a little bit more, then some purple. Bring some light in over that. And add some more moss wherever I think I need some. It's up to you how much greens you want to use, what kind of greens. Okay, we're going to add the flowers now, and I'm going to start with a little bit of neon rose. So I'm going to add one there. Just start first with a little bit of that, a little circle. I'll add another one here. They're pretty big flowers. Another one here, some down here. Then I'll take a little bit of white, mix that up. We're just going to see little, like this is impressionistic. It's actually pretty blurry in the photo, So we just want to have these little blobs of color. So taking a little bit of white. Now the neat thing about these flowers is that they bloom like in clusters. So there's a flower, there's like 3 or 4 flowers, maybe even more, in a group. And they get lighter and lighter on the ends, so the centers are darker. So I'm just picking up a little bit more white, mixing it with the purple or rose in my brush. And then kind of just making it twirly around the edges. Then I'll just have some smaller ones. Now my reference photo I'm painting from that I took doesn't have flowers down here, but I think they just look so pretty, and with all the green in this painting, I want to go ahead and just add a little bit more. See, that's what you can do with reference photos. You can play up or exaggerate on the things that speak to you and that you like. But it gets fun taking your own photos and making art out of them. And it'll make you a better painter. It just trains your eye to see all the little details that you would miss just at first glance. Cleaning my brush off, I'm going to take a little bit more of my greens and a little bit of white. I'm going to just add some leaves in here. Just little taps and gentle pull off the tip with your brush. Then I'm going to pick up a little bit of purple with my sap green. I'll add a few more branches before I call this one done. Back over to my liner brush, water, very little pressure. Okay, final thing, I'm just going to add some little blue ripples here in the water. Pick up a little bit of white, gently mix that in. A little bit of light olive green. And this painting is all done. This was really fun. I'm glad I got to share this one with you. I've got a few more coming. Let me know if you guys would like to see them in the comments below. And I want to wish you guys all the best. I'll see you soon in my next video. Bye!